Tēnā koe, morena, e te whānau. Good morning, beautiful family. I invite this question for you, for all of us, to really go into that heart space, that womb space, that gut space, into your own body, and ask, where is home for you? What does that really mean for you?
Sometimes rarely in the world in these times. Maybe it's getting a little bit less rare as we all learn. But you come across beings who, when they speak, there's something deep and beautiful and real in their words and in their song. And I feel that Sister Fire is one of those on earth in this time that embodies this. And it's just an honor for me to call this gathering and have her here present with us. And Sister, thank you so much for joining us today.
Atamari e. Morena. Good morning. Beautiful family. Tēnā koe, morena, e te whānau. Good morning, beautiful family. Ko rangi nui e tū nei, ko papatua nuku I raro nei. Ngā mihi aroha I te manuhiri. Ngā mihi aroha I te manuhiri o te rōpū, o te manawa. Tēnā koe ko kapi kapi o te whānau o moemoeia o te whenua o ngā tapu whenua o ahi te reiria. Ko kahurāna ki taku maunga, ko rua pēhu taku maunga. Ko paukaua te waiu, ko wanganui te awa. Ko Aotea, ko taku timu o taku waka. Ko kahurānaki, ko patearero, tōku marae. Ko rangi te koeanake te hapu. Ko Ivan Emia, Patricia Emia. Ko kuitohi o tōku kuia. O tōku koro. Ko hine ipurangi ahau. Ko whaia aho. Tēnā koe, tēnā koe, tēnā koe. Good morning, beautiful family. As we welcome the energy of this beautiful fire into the circle, it's got my back this morning as the mist woke up to the mist, acknowledging our beautiful Sky Father this morning, Rangi Nui, and Papa Tuanuku, our beautiful Earth Mother. I'm coming to you from the sacred whenua, sacred land of Ahitereiria of Australia, from the Gubbi Gubbi people, tangata moemoea, the people of the dream time, here on the Sunshine Coast, on the east coast of Australia and Queensland. Acknowledge those sacred ancestors that we are sitting with this morning and walking with in our days here or now. And I was acknowledging my ancestry to, one, remind myself of who I am when I come to share, who I come from, and also to let you know that whoever is sitting with us in this room, and we never know who is sitting with us when we gather and what our connections are. So as Māori people, we always start with acknowledging our tipuna, our ancestors. And yes, I mean our iwi, our bones, where our bones come from, our genealogy, our whakapapa, our genealogy. And our whakapapa, it begins with, as I mentioned, our beautiful Rangi Nui, our Father up in the heavens, and our Mother beneath our feet. But it also starts with our atua, our godly realms, and the energies that bind us and keep us whole and nurture us, like Kahuranaki and Ruapehu, my two mountains where I come from, where my grandfathers and grandmothers came from. It's the Hawke's Bay area on the east coast of New Zealand. I am a Ngati Kahununu woman of Aotearoa, New Zealand, land of the long white cloud. The Ika a Maui, the fish that Maui pulled up from the deep ocean. And from the mountains, the waters run down into rivers. And I am from the Wanganui Te Awa, the Wanganui River, which is quite a sacred and special place to our people, as are all the rivers and all the mountains. And this river, this beautiful river, has been caretaking us as people for a very, very long time. And in these new times of our evolution, we have had to navigate our way through pathways that we co-create with our human consciousness. And we've had to, in turn, protect our beautiful river through the law system. And I speak of the LA law system, meaning land, air, and water law. Now we speak about this river, and we've protected this river in the law system to have its own voice, to actually support it in a way for the systems that we've created ourselves, to where the river itself has its own autonomy in a court of law. And these are the threads that I guess I'm speaking of, and how we are navigating our world today. and what we sometimes have to co-create by engaging and developing in such a way, I suppose. But I will continue to return to my whakapapa before I go deeper into that story. Just to let you know that the Wanganui River is part of my ancestry. And as we always have known that, yes, it has a voice. We do cross over. We sometimes have to cross over in these times to make sense of things and to really push the boundaries on how we can protect our beautiful environment, even though it may not always make sense. One foot in front of the other. Wanganui te awa, ko Paukawa te waiu. Paukawa is a lake just out of Hastings, New Zealand, where my marae Kahuranaki stands. And Patiarero is the other marae that I come from, which resides besides the river of Wanganui on the west coast. So from the east coast to the west coast of New Zealand is where I hail from, my ancestry. And however, I was raised by my Aboriginal grandmother, Yinju woman, Yinju people in the northwestern Australian outback, in the Pilbara, in the red desert country, on the red ochre. So chasing kangaroos, barefoot, running around, surviving and living off the land. I grew up very much like an Aboriginal girl since I was 6 years old with my family, and really connecting to the land. At the moment, I'm coming to you from Gubbi Gubbi country, as I said, and I've returned to the land. We're guided to be where we're meant to be at this time on the planet, and I'm literally living on the land. There's no walls where I live. We live out here. This is my front door, and you're in the heart of my home right now. And if I was to speak about the home, what is, I've been questioning very much what home truly means, because I was comfortable in a house with a beautiful balcony and nice inside fire, and you know, through these times that we've been going through, the housing system has been quite a struggle for a lot of people, and it's been really put into our faces at this time, and it's been something that I've been questioning. What is home to me? Where is home to me? Is it those four walls? Is it the comforts that we're used to? Being led back to the land, back to my childhood, feels like a very full circle journey for myself and my family. And even though it's been a bit of a reset, not always easy with weather and such, it is a beautiful reminder to come home to ourselves, to remember how to wake with the fire in the morning, and to live so closely with Papa Tuanuku. So I invite this question for you, for all of us, to really go into that heart space, that womb space, that gut space, into your own body, and ask, Where is home for you? What does that really mean for you? And how can we start to recognize that we are not our houses, that we are not our careers, that we are not those external buildings of ideas of who we think we are, that we are more, so much more. And how do we serve that within our families? And how do we serve that within our communities? And if we are serving in our community with our true soul purpose, in our own unique way, are we really taking care of the deeper currents that are happening within us? To question a service seems to come easier when we are outside of these comfort zones, outside calling in those new energies, and it can be easier to serve our community than it is to serve our own family. We come in through this blueprint. We come in with our deep core lessons. Yes, it comes in trauma. Yes, it comes in divine, beautiful love. Are we really clearing as we're moving forward? Are we really clearing those currents? Are we cleansing those currents in our lives that run deep in the subconscious within our family lineages? Are we tapping into those present ones this lifetime and clearing and cleansing those in our lives? And are we reaching further through our ancestral lines, the trauma that resurfaces through our DNA, that creeps up on us? And I speak about this because it seems to run very subconsciously and very gently. And I bring it in with love this morning. I bring it in with this beautiful flame to help bring that to the surface, to burn it away, to use the practice of the sacred fire to burn those things away, so that we can move forward with clarity, so that we can move forward with a divine power. Yeah. Something I've just gone through, well, many times in my life, but recently in the last 2 weeks, traveling from the east to the west coast of Australia. I've just landed home yesterday. I feel to get very personal actually with you this morning. Whoever is listening out there and whoever's sitting by the fire with me this morning, I feel to get very personal about a journey that I've just landed home yesterday. And it was to go and support my beautiful Hawaiian sister who lost her son 2 weeks ago. And I went to support her, to walk with her, to hold her in her deep, deep grief. This is part of some of the work I'm called to do. It's not that I've put my hand up for things like this, but this is my calling particularly. And while I speak about this particular subject that is very present in my life right now, and really in all of our lives because it affects all of us, I really invite you to listen to those callings that you have deep inside your being, the ones that come from a higher space and place, the sacred whispers that you hear when you are with yourself. Are you listening? Are you walking forward towards that? Or do we become complacent with those fires in our belly? And I speak about the passing over of our physical time, our physical bodies, and how quite in a world today, it's very sad. I'm noticing it's very sad because we've lost a lot of our rituals when it comes to the passing over of us. And as Māori people, we have been handed down these beautiful First Nations people, practicing our beautiful rituals of birth through initiations of adolescence, initiations of sacred union, divine union, partnerships, challenges throughout our lives. And also the beautiful ceremonies that we have been passed down when we pass over. And I really invite you, I'm not sure what heritage you are from or who you connect to within your heart space or within the star realms where you may want to recognize or invite certain rituals into your life, but to also invite these deep, deep, beautiful ceremonies and rituals into our death. And as Māori, when we pass over, we are taught to sit with the body in our sacred meeting house within the marae for a period of days, perhaps 3, 5, 7 days up to. And it can be scary for people who are not used to being around situations like that. But for us, it's very normal. And although tapu, also very, very sacred. And we sit together. In fact, the body is never to be left alone. And we open the door for whoever wants to come to grieve. And we grieve together, side by side, day or night. Welcome to come and sit and be together and shed our tears and heal and remember together. We sing, we tell stories, we eat together, we sleep together in the house, in our marae, next to the body of our loved one. To celebrate as much as we would a newborn child. That's such a beautiful part of my culture that I've only just reclaimed and And in the later part of my life, that's something I'm just so proud to be able to tap into and know, and so proud of how my tipuna created these pathways of safety for our heart and our soul and our spiritual growth, and left them to us in this way. This is the way we celebrate one another, the journey of this walk that we have, this very short but beautiful walk that we have. My dear sister passed away a few years ago, and her partner was Dutch. Beautiful man, beautiful brother. And I say this with all my heart in respect to him, that he was frightened, and he was trying to organise a beautiful ceremony and sermon in a church for an hour so that we could come together. And this seems to be the way that so some society thinks that the way it should be done, and the separateness of how we sit in rows of chairs, and then the body's over there, and how we separate these rituals of the Western world, I believe, I guess what I'm trying to say. What I'm inviting is that we bring it back together, that we bring us all back together. And that beautiful brother was open to our ways and our customs, and we held my beautiful sister within the home for a period of time, and we welcomed people to come and sit and grieve. And because it was here in Australia, and it was very much non-Indigenous friends and family coming, there was ways that we had to integrate the old practices in a new world today, in a new country. I mean, we're in Australia, we're not in New Zealand, and how do we practice these things if we don't have our marae? And I guess what I'm inviting here is, how can we bring these rituals? How can we, aroha. How can we bring these rituals, or rites of passage, rather, these rites of passage, back into our lives, into the new world, this new world that we are creating right now? How do we invite these into our families, and with respect to the land that we're on, the cultural people that are with us? How do we invite those people in to help guide us, if that's what we need? And how do we invite our own intuitive knowing into this new world? And, it's always a bit of a nervous walk when you're taking your first steps, like a child, a baby taking its first steps. Can be a little wobbly. Can fall flat on your face sometimes. I guess that's why we always look to our guardians, our elders, grandmothers and grandfathers. We look to the elder of the fire, sacred fire. We look to our hearts mostly. Walking with your heart really can't go wrong. My hands are getting cold. So my beautiful family, I really invite this into your space this morning, into your being of creating ceremony for yourself, inviting and welcoming challenges that you're having in your lives at this time as a beautiful lesson, as a beautiful path of growth, as divine higher service to your own spiritual growth, and to nurture yourselves through that the best way that you can, the most loving way that you can for yourself. And sending you my love. Yeah, not sure how long I've been talking for.
I'll jump in, sister. Thank you so much for being here with us. We're roughly 25-ish, 25 minutes left of our time together. Yeah, you've definitely got through a fair bit. Did you want to take a moment to get close to the fire and warm your hands or anything? Or
I mean, it's got my back.
It's got your back? Okay, you're good.
Yeah.
How would you feel about moving into like some questions of sorts, or some little wonderings on our side?
Yes, I would love that. I'm just going to try and mute the raindrops of messages that are coming through so we don't get interrupted. Excuse me one second.
Maybe while Fire does that, we all just kind of take a moment to breathe and just let that all do the old duck shake. The old duck shake, the old shimmy. You know, Iona Russell, you know.
I'm a little tech savvy. I'm not really getting it. We'll just say we'll be fine. Yeah, so I went quite to a place I didn't know I was going to go to this morning, and sharing just quite a, it's I guess that's just the creator and spirit talking, and to just follow those things, and to walk in your realness, I suppose. Not having any expectations about showing up in the world for your loved ones and your family, or for your work, the work that you do. And it takes some practice, I guess, as I was mentioning before. And so I'm so honoured to be here, and I'm so grateful to be able to share a bit of the story that has come through this morning with you all. And yeah, I'd love to invite the rest of the family to come and connect and whatever you feel to.
So what we might do, sister, is and by the way, it's been such a pleasure just to have you. It's just so nice to kind of soak in a little bit of fire, the triple fire. Fire. I might begin myself with a question, if you don't mind.
Yes, absolutely.
And then we'll see if Benjamin or Alistair or Cassandra or Joan or Becky had a question. So yeah, what's kind of tickling me a little bit, just asking me to ask, is in these times, I'm a white man. I am a white man. There might be a little bit of some. What was that? Sorry. Currently.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah. Well, I'm working it out. We might land somewhere that I don't know. But there is we live in a time where my people have in a really large way forgotten relation with the earth, myself included. And I suppose I find myself on this ongoing journey of repairing that which is broken, or that which was broken, and just being really real about the vulnerable within myself, about the kind of the vulnerable soreness, like just kind of getting real about just how far off that which is deeply true we and I have arrived at, you know. And so this is kind of what's underneath my question, and the question is, what are you hearing, or what do you feel the Maori elders are, or cultural teachers, yourself included, have as your whispers for the Western world in these times of transition? What do you feel is like the reminders that you guys have for us?
Well, first of all, Matthew, brother, you are a multi-dimensional freak of nature.
I know.
All right. Beautiful star being you. And, you know, I have just been on a global walk with elders from all across the continent, really sitting in the grid of the planet. And that is about a 2-year walk, and we're in the middle of it. And what I really felt, and it's not just my Maori ancestors, you know, it's all our ancestors. Right now, it's actually about a time of all of us. It's from moving from the me, and yes, as much and honourable as I share my Maoriness, my Maori heritage, it's moving from the me into the we, and we're moving into the we of the collective unified human race, and even beyond right now. So yes, you might see yourself as a white man, and I see myself as a Maori woman, but these times now are way beyond our exterior that we're looking at in the mirror. It's more of the light that we're bringing into the world as a collective. And that truly, really is where we need to start going. It's time for action now. We can't just sit around and just think that things are going to take care of itself. You know, we really have to start to come together. Everyone in this space right now, I mean, we're beings of light. We're threads of gold from our beautiful sun into our central sun of this Milky Way cosmos. And, you know, I heard that there's a new image from NASA recently of the stars that they've just taken a picture of deep space, whereas before they were tiny little dots. You know, our perspective is really starting to widen now that we can actually see so many galaxies very, very far away. Our consciousness is expanding in such a rapid pace, and it is about the unity of our heart space, our divine light, really coming together, all races, all people, no matter what color right now. That would be my answer to that question.
What do you think coming together looks like?
Right now is what it looks like. Us in this space, being together, sitting together, recognizing one another, listening to each other, sharing our deep heart space, sharing our rites of passage, sharing the knowledge, the sacred knowledge that we have, you know, reviving those old, just, you know, the way I just introduced myself. That's an old practice that we, and a very relevant practice that we use all the time when we sit together in hui, in a gathering as Māori people. If we're in a meeting, like we're going into a teaching space in the university, for example, like or a meeting within your workplace, we will begin by introducing ourselves in that group space, may it be corporate or whatever. We will begin by reciting our whakapapa, reciting our lineage, my mountain, my river, my house, my waka, the canoe that my people come from. Because no matter who's in the room, we start to recognize each other from these places. And when we start to do that, in our consciousness here, we start to follow the lines of the land. We follow the lines of the star systems and we start to see the maps of how this one being came to be in this space today. And then we can go, oh, that person belongs to that person. Oh, that's my cousin's sister's family. Yes. And we start to build these connections of retracing our footsteps. So something very, very simple like that can really start to fire certain synapses and really start to, and our language, I have to say that it's in the language, the sparks of fire that ignite our bodies, our frequencies, our ancient memories. It's locked in the language. We start to speak the language of our ancestral realms, start to speak the language of the star realms. There's a lot of people out there bringing through star language, light language, whatever you will call it. There's ancient lineage language of the Mayan and such, First Nations language. And that truly is where the answers start to lie. That's where they lie. And it starts to change our entire frequency, and it starts to take the veil off our eyes to actually really start tapping into our inner knowingness as sovereign walking beings under the universal sky.
Yeah, sister. Yeah.
Well, feeding up, that's really nice. It's talking to me.
Get into it.
Yeah.
So I've opened questions up to second circle. So the format of your question, if you're going to ask a question, is ask it within 30 seconds and then just put yourself on mute and Fire will speak to it. Patrick, coming on.
Fire, thank you very much for being with us today and sharing your wisdom.
Patrick.
I've been feeling recently a what you might call an activation, and a friend has woken me up to light language, and I can feel it shifting things in my body and in my being, but I don't know what to do with it. And I'm feeling this deep call to learn the songs of the earth, and allow them to start coming through, but I don't know how to bring them through. I don't know. Have you got any ways of that your people use to connect with the land and allow the songs to come through? Is there anything, any practices you could share?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Kia ora, Patrick. Kia means to be, and ora is your wellness. So kia ora, yes, it means hello and thank you, but it essentially means I wish you well. Kia ora. Thank you for your question. Here's a practice. Get out of your own way. and welcome in your own soul song. Welcome in your own light of sound. I would say, I don't know how deep you are within this calling or this practice, but in the safety of your own space, I would get out of my own way. A lot of the time we're trying to make sense of what we're doing or what we're saying, or, oh my God, it doesn't make sense. And we're judging ourselves a lot, actually, too much. And we're putting in these blockers subconsciously. We're putting in these blockers, and we just need to get it out of the way and allow and really just allow, give ourselves permission for it to come through. Because at first we're going, oh, what is this? I don't know. And really it's just about just opening, just truly opening like the lotus, you know, or flowing like the river, you know, wherever you're sitting, you know, whether you're sitting on a mountain and you want to be like as foundational as the stone you're sitting next to, or if you're by a river, you want to tap into the water moving, and you want to just use our atua, use the elements to really support you in just going with the flow and opening, because it can be quite frightening to open up to something new for the first time. It can be, you don't even know where these sounds are coming from, right? I mean, I've been practicing, I've been a musician for 20 years. I mean, it's in my bones, literally, about all of our ancestors that sing for all the time. But for 10 years, I've been singing, started out singing this, what you call light language now, until I activated my traditional language. And then I have a crossover as well. And it was, yeah, like, what is this thing? And I've got many voices that come out. Sometimes I don't even know where they're coming from. What I tend to do is just really welcome them. I guess I will just preface and say, to begin with, is to really set your sacred space up, and to really, in whatever practice that is, whether you've got smudge or whether you have tobacco that you're offering into your space before you start, that it's safe, and that you have your prayer of protection when you're going into these places and spaces, because, you know, when we can open ourselves, that needs to be very solid in how we're doing that. And so just allow yourself to explore, and, you know, keep it fun. It doesn't have to be so heavy, you know. We don't have to be so rigid in our ceremonies, because ceremonies are meant to be, you know, for our joy and our learning experience, you know. And so I would just say that allow the sound to come through, because, like, we may only begin here in our mouths, and then the sound might then start coming from our throat. Then we start coming from our chest, and then we're coming from our stomachs, and then we're getting down into our wombs or into our genital area, and we're really pulling it up. Then we're tapping even further into the earth. I really want to draw that up, and then just allow it to just manifest in however it manifests. And just be kind to yourself, you know, because you just never know what's inside. And isn't that half the journey, is to figure out who the hell I am and what is that sound? And it's okay to explore, that it's safe and fun to explore our own sound. It's such a beautiful, beautiful journey to love our own sound. Yeah. And then to close off as you open your safe space to go and explore with your voice, to close off as well, and thank that those beautiful energies that you've just tapped into.
Kia ora, sister. Thank you so much for that. Really resonated.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Excellent. You're so welcome.
Hello, Whaia. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Kia ora.
My question goes back to how you introduce yourself with your ancestors and where you come from. And what I witnessed with myself, and probably I'm also standing in my way, is I have no idea where I come from. Like, I feel connected to so many places in Australia, in the US, in Europe. I live in Germany. My grandparents went to, like, I feel like from Mother Earth. I'm from Earth.
Yeah.
I wouldn't, and and maybe it's just letting it flow and finding where I come from. But it's, for me, even this introduction of, at the moment I have no idea who I am, and I know who I am. So maybe you have a suggestion how to make peace with it, or find my way through it.
Yeah.
With this non-ancestral knowing.
Beautiful. Antonia?
Antonia, yes.
Kia ora, morena. Good morning, beautiful woman. I would say we all have an ancestry. We all have a bloodline, bone line ancestry. And some of us don't know. I mean, I had to go and find my own. I had to go and reclaim that. And it is about a reclamation. It's about a journey of reclaiming yourself. And in that process, it may be your bones, it may be your DNA lineage. However, not all the time. You know, and there are a lot of us that are like that. And I come across this quite a lot in my groups. And how do we bridge that then? Yes, it's a really good question. I look at you and I see light. I see big, bright light. I see very starry cosmic energy from you, to be honest. I mean, your third eye is actually shining if I'm looking at you right now, literally it is. And, you know, we all can tap into the place. If you were adopted, perhaps you don't know your ancestry and things like that. We can tap into the place. She's a whale woman. Aha. Are you, Antonia? Oh, wow. O ngā tohora, o ngā tipuna. Yes, magic. Then you are a keeper of frequencies. Keeper of the frequencies of the planet, a water woman like me. I resonate very deeply. So here we are connecting with our star brethren. Here we are connecting now the whales, the cetacean family, and our culture come from Matariki, the star system of the Pleiades, the 7 blue sisters. And you know, this is where I would say to you, or offer rather, to tap into your star landing. And I mean by where were you born? Simply, what mountain is that closest to? What river is that closest to? When your body and soul, when your soul landed in your body on this planet at this time. I would start with, you know, if you don't know your mother's name or your father's name, then I would go there. I would start with your spirit landing. If you know that, yeah, go to that mountain where you were born. Follow the river system there. If you can, go physically there and sit there and listen. Speak your prayers to that place. Speak your prayers into those ancient stones. Speak your prayers into those waters that run there, because that's where you landed. Go and speak to the elders there. Speak to those elders there. Get to know the place. Get to know them. What kind of people did you land near? Who are they? Because they're your people. You know, you might not look like them. You might not sound like them. But that's where you landed. Go with respect. Go with love. Go and introduce yourself to the land. Go and introduce yourself to that lake. Go and introduce yourself to those elders. That's where you can get to know yourself. Look up. Look up to the stars that look down on that place, particularly because that's that star map. That's the star map of where you landed. Look up. Oh, mwah.
Beautiful, sister. We've just got one more question if you're open to it. I feel just
Absolutely.
deep gratitude for your being here and for your words and presence. Ed.
Yes. Good morning. Thank you for all your
Good morning,
sharing. My question's about the fire, and there are two parts that it wants to go. It says the subtlety between the wood that you put on the fire. Do you choose certain trees or certain trees for certain occasions and ceremonies? And is there a moment where you sort of reawoke to what the fire is? What, the grandfather element of the fire? Was there a moment in your journey where that changed, that sort of comes back to you? Thank you.
Yes. Oh, kia ora, Ed. Good morning, beautiful brother. Thank you for your question. The fire, the sacredness of the fire, the grandfather fire. It was part of my life as far as I remember as a young girl growing up out there on the land with my Aboriginal whānau. It was just part of daily life, really, and how we survived and how we ate and how we cook our food, essentially. But truly, I didn't really have a deep, deep relationship with the fire until I met my husband, who is a firekeeper for the Sundance at Little Pilot Rock in Oregon in the United States, near Mount Shasta. And he was a firekeeper and a Sundancer. And we met, I think we've been together 11 years now. And he invited me to come support him by the Sundance. And that is really when the grandmother fire too, by the way, spoke to me. And where the true relationship for me personally came to be was with the Native American family. And so as divine happened, we met, we went to the Sundance, and I connected with my ina, my mother, Wope, which means shooting star. And she is the wife of the chief who runs that Sundance, Michael Two Feather. So that's my family lineage to that sacred fire. And really watching my husband and the men really tend to that. And like even before you light anything, it is being, the tree is being chosen. There are rituals around that. I could spread out in so many ways on this question. Particularly at the moment, this tree was just something that we're reusing from the land, from a clearing, because they're not native trees. So we're using those for this fire today. But if I go back to the Sundance and share a quick part of that story, the tree is chosen through an entire day ritual. The elder finds a cotton tree, and then there are ceremonies around that tree before it is cut. And the tree is taken into the arbor on the shoulders of all the men carrying it, goes into the middle of the arbor and is danced around with those prayers for a time. And that stands for a year, the antenna of those prayers for 1 year. The next cycle comes around, that tree is then taken to sit and be cut for the sacred fire for the sweat lodge for the men and women, depending on which Sundance you go to. So then those prayers are then burnt into the sacred sweat for the next season's cycle of sun dances, and nurtured and cycled around. So as far as the choosing of wood, that is how the Native American people practice their ceremonies of the sacred Tane Mahuta, our god of the forest. That's a particular cottonwood tree. But as far as for us, for our own personal sacred fires, it's really about using what we have, using what has fallen. If there has been a fallen tree, that we reuse, that we're not constantly going and just taking for taking's sake, and that we really just use what the land is offering us, and that we see and listen to that. That answers your question.
Thank you, Whaia, and thank you for doing this very last one as well. I appreciate you just doing.
I could talk all.
It's so nice. There's some tears in the space. There's some hearts. I'm very grateful. We're very, very grateful for time with you. Thank you so much, sister. Shannon, did you want to come on and ask your question?
Shannon, Sister Shannon.
Hello.
Hello, sister.
It's really nice to be with you.
Yeah, and you too.
Yeah. My question was something that came up when you were answering for Antonia.
Mm.
When you mentioned like going back to where you landed.
Mm.
And it really pulled on my heart, because I felt how much resistance I have to where I landed.
Mm.
It's hard to be there, including with my family. The amount of trauma and mental health and just so many unspoken things, so much separation in the family line. And I was just wondering if you had any insight into how to reconcile that. Like, it feels like such a huge weight, even approach it.
Well, take a deep breath on that one, because it's something that I've just actually gone through myself. Funny that you should bring it up. And because I did just come back from the West. I did just come back from visiting my family and burying family, and also revisiting my family with also major separation. And I know it's tough because all we want is peace, right? All we want is for us to recognize each other with love. I mean, that's all of us ever want, really. Even the hurt ones, the ones that are holding all the grudges, holding all the stuff. Got so much stuff I'm holding, and we can't always release that heaviness for our family members. But what we can do is release it for ourselves and recognize it for ourselves for what it is. And it is just where they're at sometimes, And the only thing that we can really truly do is walk forward with our own self-respect, and walk forward with respect for them, for where they're at, And it's not always, we're today in this beautiful space, in this conscious, open heart space, and we're trying to do the work. And we can't always take our family with us, our blood family, that is. And we find our spiritual family here in this room today. And, I brought my brother and my father together for the first time in 15 years a few days ago. And they're tiny steps, and they're gentle envelopes of love, of saying, hey, this is here, we can try and do that, or we can try and actually take care of our own mana too, which is what we need to do as far as that's concerned. As far as the space is concerned, the land, because the land really doesn't carry our trauma. The waters don't bring us that. It takes it from us. It can take it away for us. So even though because it's our humanness that gets in the way, you see, it's our mind that gets in the way. It's the programming that gets in the way. And if we look past those things, we do the best we can with our families. It's the hardest lessons that we have. And if we can overcome that as being our own heavy baggage that we're taking forward into our walk, if we can release that for a start, then we might be getting somewhere. If we can release our own judgments of our family members, which is tough because some of them are really deep and traumatic. If we can make peace with today, it's not happening to me today. It's not physically happening to me right now. Then I can at least start from that space. I can start from this right now space and say, you know what? That's way back there. Where am I? I'm here. And I've come so far. I have come so far. For you to be in this room, you have come so far to sit here in this space this morning. No matter what has happened to you in the past, no matter what has happened to your families in the past, no matter how much trauma your mothers or your grandmothers or your grandfathers have gone through, the wars, the people they've had to fight and survive through, holocausts, tribal wars, conscious wars that we have had to go through. I'm here today, and I've come such a long way. This is what we need to recognize for ourselves first and foremost, and then keep leading the way. Keep leading the way for your family, for your lineage, for your future lineage. Keep leading the way with love and peace. And if you want to, still go back to that land, because the land is still there for you. Those rivers, those waters, they're still there for you. Those trees, they're still there for you if you want to sit with your back to the tree where you grew up. Because it looked after you as a child, I'm sure, at some point. Blessings, dear sister. And let those tears fall. Release those tears of grief and pain, sadness. Release them, because you're doing such a bloody good job to just recognize that for a start. Because it's hard even for your family members to recognize those things, to even recognize that it's even going on. We know we've all got them. Okay. We just love them through it. Love ourselves through it even more.
Thank you.
Sorry, sister, I missed you there. What was that?
I love you. I love you.
We are so grateful, honestly, on behalf of everyone on this call this evening, just this morning on your end. Thank you so much. I feel we could probably sit with you all day, and maybe we should arrange a time for that, actually, when I get back to Australia, to kind of gather the tribes and sit with you all day.
Yes, I welcome that.
It feels very fitting that you're coming to us from the land, the Gubbi Gubbi land where I was born. So Yeah, this is where you are now is where I came into being. Gympie Hospital.
Oh my God, that's just down the road from me, like literally.
Yeah.
Oh, so how funny. I love those. I love it when things like that happen. See, that's a calling in itself. And we, you know, these are the subtleties that weave their way to us. The subtleties is really what we need to like grasp these like threads of knowing and knowledge. So it doesn't have to always make sense, you know, and it might be after the fact that we figure things out, but they're always there. Isn't that beautiful?
Just so good. Any last words before we sign off and just the deepest of gratitude? Any last words? That's for you, sister.
Oh, for me? Oh,
Yeah,
yes. Yes, I do.
Guys, right? Oh, my heart's just so full of happiness and joy that we got to spend this time with you. So grateful.
Can you hear that?
Little bit.
Or is it cutting out?
It's cutting out, but it's still there. We get the vibe. You can, if you want to go with it, go with it.
High frequency in my family. Just know it's coming at you. Haramai te akanui, haramai te akaroa. Haramai te akaka matua. Na o matua take te wai ora. Ki tēnei tamahine nau e o tiki te rangi e. Nau mai ke mārama atu ai. Ki ngā tirohanga whānui, tirohanga hōhonu. Mai te pai ta whito ki te pai tata. Kia atu teitei, kia atu hāngai. Tō mana tuku iho I karangetia rā e te tū tama wāhine. E tū tama tāne. Te urunga tū, te urunga pai, te urunga tapu. O ngā whānau, o ngā hāpu, o ngā iwi e ti hei mauri ora. Kia ora e te manuhiri. Kia ora family. Thank you so much for having me in your beautiful space, in your beautiful hearts this morning. For sending you all my love to you at this time. And I take you with me into my day. Say kia ora, be well, my brothers and sisters. Unite, spread your love. We are one. We are here together. I love you so much. Thank you, my brother Matthew. Thank you.